ones who failed weren't really sent home. They were killed, processed into the very bars we were eating.
I think I might have done it. Today I found the worst animation channel on YouTube, IMR Scary Tales. Now this channel has a history of using quite unorthodox thumbnails, and I happened to find their most recent video, or at the time of recording this, their most recent video named 3 True Fat Shaming Horror Stories, and they all broadcasted it as real. And let me just tell you, some of the stuff in there is not real, so I guess we'll be getting into it today. So I will not be watching this whole 20-minute video because I do not have 20 minutes of YouTube animation in me, and I respect you guys' time as humans.
I arrived at elevation on a crisp morning, the air thin and cool at the top of the mountain. The retreat was serene, eerily so, nestled far away from the world, as if it were built to be isolated, far from prying eyes.
Once you see what they're doing, you're gonna understand why they did that.
A perfect escape, I thought, when the trolling on my body-positive posts had gotten unbearable. I was Margot, the influencer who preached self-love. Yet here I was, standing at the gates of a place promising to change my life. A week of transformation, they said.
Now, I know this is unrelated, but it does seem like this does happen to a lot of body positivity influencers. Just a tick.
Sounded too good to be true, but I had to try. It was remote, sterile, like a luxury asylum. The staff, all in white uniforms, greeted me with bland smiles.
Now, I'm sorry, but if somebody ever smiles at you like that, you need to run and never look back, okay? I'm sorry. Only choice has to be done.
And I was assigned a number, no name. That felt wrong, but I couldn't shake the feeling that this was what I had been looking for. On my first day, I met the others, a group of plus-sized influencers, all struggling with the same thing: image, weight, public expectations. There was Kira, a sweet and anxious woman who couldn't seem to relax, and then there was Tanya, who kept a forced smile on her face as if she were afraid of being outed. We were all here for the same thing, an intense program of fasting, mindfulness.
I promise, once you find out what's in those bars, you're gonna wonder how this channel owner isn't in prison for thinking this way.
Metabolic conditioning. The food was tasteless protein bars, and the water was metallic, leaving a strange aftertaste. The worst part? We were under surveillance at all times, for our safety, they said. I shrugged off the unease. This was what I had come for, right? I posted my selfies to maintain the same inspiring image for my fans. I wrote under photo, "Day 3 at elevation, detoxing like crazy, #transformation journey." But it wasn't long before I started noticing the cracks, the strange behavior of the staff, the cold, clinical atmosphere. Kira pulled me aside one night after dinner, her eyes wide with fear.
"People have been disappearing. Did you notice?"
She whispered. I laughed it off, saying,
"They're sent home early. The ones who can't hit their weight loss milestones."
They're really not getting sent home.
The next morning, I saw a woman crying during a weigh-in, her face twisted in despair. The following day, her room was scrubbed clean, as if she had never been there. The unease grew in my chest. The nights became worse. Every morning, I woke up groggy, dizzy, as if I hadn't slept at all. One day, I found a needle mark on my arm, hidden beneath the sleeve of my pajamas. I asked the staff, but they brushed it off as a routine hydration support. Something wasn't right, and my instincts screamed at me to leave.
Honestly, if you haven't left at this point, it's just kind of on you.
But I didn't know how. One night, during curfew, I hid in a cleaning closet, desperate for answers. I watched 2 staff members unload boxes labeled protein supply, human flavor.
If you get it, this is going exactly where you think it is. If not, keep watching.
The logo matched the retreat's private brand of protein bars. I felt my stomach twist, the realization hitting me like a wave. Are they feeding us protein bars made of human meat? The next night, I broke into a locked storage room with Kira. What we found chilled me to my core. Sealed packages of protein bars, each labeled with a batch code and a photo ID attached. One of the photos was of the woman who had cried during the weigh-in. She was gone, processed into a bar. Kira screamed, but I couldn't tear my eyes away from the photos. We were being used.
Why anybody would think to make this, I have no idea, and whoever did, I don't want to be in a society with them, and I think that's a perfectly reasonable take.
Those who failed weren't really sent home. They were killed, rendered, processed into the very bars we were eating. Before we could escape, we were caught.
Well, one, this guy looks like he hasn't slept in like 5 months. I think he needs to take a bit of a nap. Second, I need to find a society where this would never be investigated, and people would just be killed at a fat concentration camp, essentially. What kind of country runs us like this? Lawless country.
Dr. Rains, the founder of Elevation, emerged from the shadows. He was gaunt, his body a stark contrast to the morbidly obese man he once was. His eyes gleamed with something twisted and sinister. "Fat is the disease," he said, his voice cold and calm. "You influencers spread it, but now you nourish change." He didn't need to say more. I knew what was coming next. I woke up to the sound of humming machines, my body heavy and unresponsive. Kira lay unconscious beside me. I realized we were drugged, but maybe I was too fat to go down with one dose. My mind started racing. I took a quick scan of the room and realized it's set up like a surgery cabin. All the medical instruments were lying on the table right beside the bed. As one of the handlers walked past, I grabbed a scalpel from and hurriedly stabbed him in the neck. Blood sprayed all over my face and...
Again, I'd really just like to know what leads a person to create this. Because the ending is definitely interesting. This is not how I expected it to play out. Well, maybe it is because I watched it beforehand. But this is just so weird, and why I just kind of dislike animation channels as a whole. It's never real. It's always fake, and fake enough to the point where they have to fake weird things to make it more clickable for people to watch. Alright, well, I think we're done here. That was some of the most bizarre content I've seen in a while, and honestly, I don't really put that lightly. I've seen a lot of animation videos in my time, and that was not good. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to press that like button and subscribe, and make sure to turn on notifications so you never miss a new video from the Deep Sea Archives.